Good afternoon, and welcome to this news briefing covering the most significant financial, political, and world events from the past 72 hours, spanning April 25th to April 28th, 2025. Let's dive into the key stories shaping markets, governments, and global affairs. Financial news. Markets navigate tariffs, Bitcoin volatility, and corporate moves. The financial world has been rocked by a mix of macroeconomic turbulence and sector-specific developments over the past 3 days. The biggest story is the ongoing fallout from U.S. President Donald Trump's new tariff policies, which have sent shockwaves through global markets. Reports indicate that tariffs, particularly on Chinese goods, have caused significant losses across financial markets, with the New York Times noting that these policies have roiled financial markets due to their unpredictability and scale. The IMF-World Bank meetings concluded on April 27th, with little clarity on how global economies will respond to these trade barriers, fueling economic uncertainty. Economists warn that small businesses, already operating on thin margins, face severe financial strain from these tariffs, potentially exacerbating recession risks. In the cryptocurrency space, Bitcoin has been a roller coaster. On April 27th, Bitcoin surged past $95,000. A 2% increase in 24 hours, driven by speculative enthusiasm and institutional adoption. However, analysts are tempering expectations for a return to $100,000, citing overbought conditions and regulatory headwinds. Posts on X reflect mixed sentiment, with some users hyping the rally while others caution about a potential correction. This volatility underscores Bitcoin's role as both a financial opportunity and a risk in today's markets. Gold markets, meanwhile, are showing signs of weakness. A bearish shooting star pattern in gold prices, with a critical level at $3,265, suggests a potential deeper pullback, as reported by FX Empire on April 27th. Kitco News also highlighted a multi-session gold sell-off, sapping the metal's momentum and turning sentiment bearish on Wall Street. This shift could reflect investors pivoting away from safe haven assets amid tariff-driven uncertainty. On the corporate front, two major deals stood out. Germany's Merck KGaA announced a $3.9 billion acquisition of U.S. biotech firm SpringWorks, signaling confidence in the healthcare sector despite broader market jitters. In Italy, Mediobanca launched a $7 billion bid for Banca Generali, escalating a bank M&A war that could reshape Europe's financial landscape. Additionally, Amazon was named a top safe stock by hedge funds, reflecting its resilience amid global uncertainties. Critically, the narrative of tariffs as a purely disruptive force deserves scrutiny. While they've undeniably rattled markets, some U.S. industries may benefit from protectionism, and China's vow to support tariff-affected firms suggests a counter-strategy is in play. Still, the lack of clear policy details keeps markets on edge. Political news, U.S. leadership dynamics, and global diplomatic shifts politically. The past 72 hours have been dominated by U.S. developments and their global ripple effects. In the area, U.S. President Trump's administration is navigating internal and external challenges. A feud between two of Trump's top advisors, reported by the New York Times, is complicating policy rollout, particularly on tariffs, as conflicting visions for economic strategy emerge. This infighting could undermine the administration's ability to project stability, especially as financial markets crave clarity. Trump's foreign policy moves are also making headlines. On April 25th, he reiterated a conversation with Chinese President Xi Jinping but offered no details, fueling speculation about back-channel trade negotiations. Meanwhile, Trump appointed Steve Witkoff, a real estate ally, to lead delicate talks on Ukraine, Iran's nuclear program, and Gaza, a move that has raised eyebrows due to Witkoff's lack of diplomatic experience. Posts on X claim Trump ordered humanitarian aid to Gaza, but these reports are unverified and should be treated cautiously. Elsewhere, Elon Musk is reportedly scaling back his direct work for Trump while positioning himself as a major Republican donor for the 2026 midterms, according to Reuters. This shift could reshape GOP funding dynamics, amplifying Musk's influence in U.S. politics. Globally, political tensions are simmering. In the UK, top bank chiefs urged the finance minister to scrap ring-fencing rules on April 26th, arguing they hinder competitiveness, a debate that could influence global banking regulations. In China, President Xi's planned visit to Shanghai this week reported by Reuters, signals a focus on bolstering the financial hub amid tariff pressures. The establishment narrative paints Trump's policies as chaotic, but this overlooks potential. Strategic intent. His tariff escalation and unconventional diplomatic appointments may be calculated to disrupt entrenched systems, though their success remains uncertain. The lack of transparency in U.S.-China talks also warrants skepticism, as both sides have incentives to posture publicly while negotiating privately. World news. Geopolitical tensions and humanitarian crises on the world stage the past 72 hours have seen a mix of conflict, diplomacy, and environmental concerns. In South Asia, a militant attack in India-administered Kashmir killed 26 people, prompting Indian authorities to detain over 1,500 individuals, as reported by NPR on April 27th. Posts on X mention an India-Pakistan war, but no credible sources confirm this, suggesting exaggeration or misinformation. The U.S. has urged both nations to work toward a responsible solution, highlighting the region's volatility. In the Middle East, tensions spiked after a Yemeni missile was intercepted over the Red Sea, as noted in X posts. Additionally, an unverified X post reported a suspicious explosion in Iran's southern port, but without corroboration, this remains speculative. These incidents underscore the region's fragility, with potential to disrupt global energy markets. Humanitarian crises are also critical. The World Food Programme's depletion of food stocks in Gaza, reported on X, has worsened the region's crisis, with no immediate resolution in sight. Meanwhile, the Kremlin announced a 72-hour ceasefire around May 9th to coincide with Victory Day celebrations, but its sincerity and impact are questionable given ongoing Russia-Ukraine tensions. X posts mentioned delayed ceasefire talks and U.S. absence from a London summit, reflecting stalled progress. Environmentally, CBS News reported that 84% of the world's coral reefs are undergoing harmful bleaching, the most intense event in recorded history. This ecological disaster threatens marine ecosystems and coastal economies, yet it's received less attention than geopolitical flashpoints. The narrative of escalating global conflict can overshadow quieter but equally pressing issues like coral bleaching. The Kashmir detentions and Middle East incidents also raise questions about whether heavy-handed responses fuel cycles of unrest. Without primary source access, some details remain murky, but the pattern of tension is clear. Conclusion, in summary, the past 72 hours have been defined by financial turbulence driven by U.S. tariffs, Bitcoin's volatility, and major corporate deals, political maneuvering in the U.S. and abroad, with Trump's policies and China's responses taking center stage, and a world grappling with regional conflicts, humanitarian crises, and environmental decline. These stories are interconnected tariffs, fuel economic and political uncertainty, while geopolitical tensions exacerbate global instability. Critically, we must question oversimplified narratives, whether about tariffs' impacts or diplomatic motives, and seek clarity amid the noise. Thanks you for joining me for this briefing. Stay informed, and I'll be back with the next update.